she went off social media. Okay? Right? She said she had cyberbullies and she went off social media. Okay? She is not off social media because of Ryan. She is not off social media because of the backlash around Ryan. That's not why she's off social media. She has had worse backlash, way worse. She's off social media because of Parole, okay?
I'm like, why does my instructions have to be different than anyone else's? Because to me, I'm just another average bear. And I guess I'm getting a huge culture shock.
Let's start with Gypsy's dramatic announcement that she was stepping away from social media. At first glance, it seemed like she was taking the high road, claiming that cyberbullying and concerns for her mental health were the driving forces behind her decision. She even tried to frame it as an act of self-care for the sake of her unborn child. Admirable, right? Except, not so much, because the reality couldn't be further from the truth. Gypsy didn't voluntarily decide to take a break from social media. Nope. She was forced to step back after her parole officer put her in check. Turns out, she was violating her parole by misusing social media, and the violations were piling up faster than her excuses. One local content creator even reported to the authorities for allegedly using her platform to intimidate and harass others. Not exactly a good look for someone trying to keep a low profile.
Well, gypsy-rose is back up in the comments to talk about a creator. And this is after Parole allegedly advised she stay off of social media, mainly TikTok. And this comes after a big exiting post on TikTok citing her mental health and her mental well-being.
Instead of owning up to the situation, Gypsy spun this whole sob story about how she was leaving social media for her own good. The dramatic posts, the tear-filled explanations, it was all part of an elaborate cover-up to distract her followers from the fact that she was in hot water.
Rose is leaving social media, guys. She says that she's taking a break. She's not going to be posting about her personal and private matters any longer. Honestly, I think that's for the best, especially right now. I mean, every time she opens her mouth, she gets herself in trouble. Just zip it. And I think you'll be okay. You just take a break and take responsibility for your actions and stop blaming people for your mistakes and own up to it. And I mean, that's all you gotta do, and the public will forgive you. You just have to own up to it.
And honestly, the lengths she went to are almost impressive in their ridiculousness. This isn't a woman stepping back out of concern for her well-being. This is someone trying to control the narrative after being caught red-handed. Using drama as a distraction. If there is one thing gypsy-rose Blanchard has mastered, it's the art of using drama to cover up her tracks. Whenever something serious happens in her life, whether it's parole trouble or public backlash, she manages to whip up a whirlwind of chaos to divert everyone's attention. It's almost impressive how calculated it all seems. But once you break it down, it's clear as day. This isn't someone looking for resolution. It's someone desperate to keep the spotlight on her terms. Take her sudden breakup rumors with Ken. For example, these rumors conveniently began circulating just as her social media violations were catching up to her.
I am loving her Midnights era right now. I'm loving it. Karma has been like my #1 on my playlist.
Shocking. Shocking.
And let's be real, Gypsy knows how to stir the pot. Breakup drama is juicy. It gets people talking, debating, and distracted from the real issues. Add in the speculation about paternity tests, surprise, baby shower appearances, and Viola, the perfect recipe for misdirection. But here's the thing about Gypsy's tactics. They're starting to feel predictable. Every time something serious happens, there's a conveniently timed story or controversy to steal the headlines. It's like she's working from a playbook titled, How to Keep the Public Guessing. But the cracks are showing. The people are catching on. And the more the drama she creates, the more obvious it becomes that she's trying to steer attention away from her mistakes. What's worse is that this constant cycle of distraction does more than just shift focus. It dilutes the severity of her actions. Instead of taking accountability for her behavior, Gypsy turns the public's attention to things like AI-generated baby images or manufactured feuds. It's manipulative, plain and simple. And while it might have worked in the past, the public isn't as gullible as she seems to think. The more she leans into these stunts, the more people are waking up to her pattern. The real reason she's off social media. Gypsy's claims about leaving social media for her mental health. Let's call it what it is, a carefully crafted PR move. The reality is far less noble. She didn't step away because she wanted to protect her peace or focus on her family. She was forced off by her parole officer after repeatedly crossing the line. The fact that she tried to spin it in any other way is peak manipulation. Let's break this down. Gypsy's parole comes with strict conditions, including limitations on how she can use social media. This isn't just about posting cute selfies or baby updates. It's about preventing her from repeating the same patterns that led to her involvement in a crime to begin with. Yet, despite these restrictions, Gypsy couldn't help herself. She used her platforms to engage in personal battles, clap back at critics, and even intimidate others. It's like she couldn't resist the urge to stay in the mix, no matter the consequences.
So her parole officer advises her to stay off. So what does she do? She creeps in the comments and has the audacity to speak on what a good role model is. You don't get to be a part of that conversation. Nobody forgot what you did. Once you commit murder, you don't get to speak on it. The fact that gypsy-rose is not only allowed to be on social media, but the internet as a whole is just baffling.
What's truly baffling is how Gypsy tried to frame her departure as a proactive choice. She made a big show of announcing her exit, blaming cyberbullying and claiming she was prioritizing her mental health, but the timing doesn't add up. If her mental health was the issue, why didn't she leave during previous controversies? Why now, when her parole violations are suddenly under scrutiny? The answer is simple. She didn't have a choice. And let's not overlook the lengths she's gone in order to stay involved. Even after being warned to limit her social media use to strictly business purposes, Gypsy found loopholes. She used friends' accounts to air her grievances, engaged in petty comment wars, and continued to insert herself into online drama.
Well, gypsy-rose is back up in the comments to talk about a creator. And this is after parole allegedly advised she stay off of social media, mainly TikTok. And this comes after a big exiting post on TikTok citing her mental health and her mental well-being. Aubrey Strawberry 2.0 writes, "This needs to be remembered next time we talk about who should or shouldn't be influencing young girls." gypsy-rose chimes in, exactly. Young girls should be influenced by strong, empowered women who show a positive attitude and compassionate heart. That is a role model, and that will never be Nina.
This isn't someone stepping back for their well-being. It's someone desperately trying to keep control of the narrative while skirting her role. The incident with Ivory Rose. Now, this is where things get dark and honestly, a little terrifying. The incident with Ivory Rose isn't just another example of Gypsy's inability to stay out of trouble. It's a chilling reminder of the tactics she's willing to use to silence her critics, even if it means crossing some serious ethical and legal lines. So who is Ivory Rose? She's a local content creator who had been sharing information about Gypsy that didn't exactly align with the narrative Gypsy wanted out there. Ivory wasn't afraid to call Gypsy out or question her version of events, and for that, she became a target. According to reports, Gypsy didn't just ignore Ivory's criticism. She escalated things in a way that feels eerily reminiscent of her past.
What you essentially did was do the same thing that you complained that other people did to you, you're doing to me. You only coming after me. Why? Because of my post today that I posted this morning about finally getting in touch with parole, and then a few hours later you make that video to try and make it look like I'm unhinged, on rugs. Like, girl, have you not looked at your page? And what you're doing is gaslighting. Y'all know what y'all did. You know that shit's fucking, I mean, come on, who wouldn't be fucking freaked out and scared and upset about it?
Gypsy allegedly involved a friend named Rogi, who reportedly threatened Ivory with a weapon. Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't just petty online drama. This is someone allegedly using intimidation tactics to silence a critique. And if that doesn't raise red flags, I don't know what will. But it didn't stop there. Gypsy allegedly drove past Ivory's workplace with her friend Bree, a move that feels calculated and downright creepy. Ivory hadn't publicly disclosed where she worked, yet Gypsy somehow knew exactly where to find her.
She's saying something about riding by her job. All you did was, like, you just know where her job is, and you passed by it and you said...
I seen her work because she wears her work shirt like an idiot on lives. And when me and Gypsy went somewhere and we were driving past, it's like, oh my God, that's the place that's on, woo-woo shirt.
Right.
Lying about them looking for my address. That was, come on now. Like, everybody's seen and heard. A lot of people messaged me about this girl. So, there you go.
The most chilling part of this story, though, is Gypsy's own one. During a live stream addressing the situation, she reportedly said, "I won't always be on parole." While some people might dismiss this as a throwaway comment, it's hard not to see it as a thinly veiled threat. For someone with her history, words like these carry weight, and they should make anyone paying attention deeply uncomfortable. Ivory, to her credit, didn't let these incidents slide. She reported Gypsy to her parole officer, providing evidence of the threats and harassment. And honestly, good for her. Gypsy's actions crossed a line, and it's about time someone held her accountable. This entire situation highlights a pattern that's impossible to ignore. Gypsy has a history of using manipulation and intimidation to get what she wants. Whether it's convincing Nicolas Godjon to commit a horrific crime or enlisting friends to threaten her critics, the tactics are disturbingly similar.
Get in touch with the parole officer. Actually, the person that's taking the calls, okay? So I'm supposed to be receiving a call back from the parole officer. Just we'll see what happens. But they are well informed now. I'll keep y'all updated. Have a good day, best.
And the fact that she's still engaging in this kind of behavior, even after everything that's happened, is a major red flag. Gypsy-Rose Blanchard's recent actions aren't just mistakes. They are deliberate choices that show a complete lack of accountability. Whether it's using drama to distract the public, lying about the reasons for her social media haters, intimidating critics like Ivory Rose, Gypsy continues to rely on manipulation to maintain control. And while she might think she's fooling everyone, the cracks in her facade are becoming impossible to ignore. What do you think, loves? Is Gypsy's behavior proof that she hasn't truly changed? Or is there more to this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe for more deep dives into stories like this one. Until next time, bye!